Yes, there are some jobs that you can do playing video games. So the first one I'm going to talk about is game testing. Now, as the name implies, you will be playing games that haven't been released yet. So, out of all the jobs I'm going to talk about right now, this one is probably the easiest to land. You can get a job of game testing right out of high school. But, since the development cycle of there's a development cycle, your job will only last a couple months, so you'll be doing a lot of job hunting and freelance work. The work conditions, according to, let's see, Carla Starr, yes, that is her real name, and Dan Daly, varied greatly. Carla Starr did not have a good experience. She kind of, well, she had a terrible experience. She went in a little room, turned the machine on and off until it broke, and that was her whole job for 2 months. Dan Daly had a little bit more fun. He was testing Superman Returns, big name there, and he got to play one level over and over again for a few months, and he got paid, $20 an hour for a couple months. That's pretty good, but it's not great. And he was working for about 9 hours a day. Now, that's pretty average for a game tester. You'll be working long hours, and you'll be playing the same level over and over again. Not a lot of fun. It's been described as boring and repetitive, and Carla Starr used the words soul-crushing. The next job, now that I've talked a little bit about game testing, the next one I'm going to talk about is pro gaming. Not programming, that's something entirely different. So, out of all the jobs, this one is probably the most glamorous. It is a sport. So, the amount you get paid is directly coherent to how good you are at the game. You will be practicing for 9 or 10 hours a day, well, maybe 8 or 9 hours a day, according to David Strauss. And you can make it big. Some professional gamers make as much as 6 figures. That's a lot of money. But since the nature of this job is that you will be working, or you'll be competing against other people, if you don't win, then you don't get paid. So there's a lot of risk in this job. But you can make it very big. Now, David Strauss says most of the consistent pay from this job isn't actually from the tournaments. It's actually from tutoring. People will ask you to teach them how to play games, and they will pay you money, and they make a lot of bank from this. Now that I've talked about pro gaming, the next one I'm going to talk about is game journalism. Now, out of all the jobs here, this one will probably be playing video games the least. But you'll get to do a lot of other things. The requirements are pretty high. You'll probably want a journalism degree before you work into this. And at first, you won't be making a lot of money. You'll be writing on a blog. You'll be writing on a website online. You'll be making most of your money from ad revenue. But if your writing is good enough and you work hard enough, you can become published, and then you can get more consistently paid. Now, once you're recognized as a game journalist, companies will send you all kinds of things. You'll be invited to exclusive events. You'll be playing games that haven't been released yet. You'll be entertained in a lot of ways. You'll see a lot of things that most people don't get to see. Now, this job has been described as a lot of fun, and you get to do a lot of different kinds of things. You'll be writing anything from reviews of games to news of games, or philosophy about game design, philosophy about how to play games and what a game should be, philosophies on whether games. There's a lot of philosophy in game journalism. Who doesn't like philosophy, right? So, now that I've talked to you about these jobs, game journalism, pro gaming, and the other one was game testing, I hope that I've sparked your interest in one of these fields, and maybe you can go and maybe get a job in one of these someday. Any questions? Questions? No? Okay. Well, there's something I was hoping I'd get to talk about, but I didn't get a chance. And there are some other niche jobs that aren't really, don't fall into these categories. Things like game guide writers, which there aren't very many of these days. They used to be a much bigger industry, but since the advent of the internet, people will do that for free, so it's not as big of a job anymore. So I would like to introduce my next speaker, Brian, and he's going to be talking to us about